Hey, what's up?
What up?
This is the Ignorance
And History.
Podcast
And History.
with Matt, Fitz, and Nathan Beige.
How you doing, Nate?
Hi again, man. Can't stop smoking weed, guys. I just can't stop.
Should we take a sip of this? What is this?
Yeah, this is Buffalo Trace whiskey.
Smells good. Cheers.
So cheers to the podcast future. I wish I had the ice cubes. I usually have. Yeah, that shit is whoo. 30 $40 a bottle. Ooh.
Really clears out the sinuses.
Yeah, some good shit. It's better with ice.
I'm not a big drinker.
Nah, it's not. It's not a. That shit had me on some rough nights, especially that and the cigar.
Man, I really want a cigar.
Yeah, we'll get there. Especially for the history podcast.
Yeah, dude.
How could you not talk about fucking like Winston Churchill
I was just
and want to smoke a cigar?
FDR. He had like those big pretzel log looking cigars.
What did I guess the Churchills were called Churchills, right?
I don't know anything about cigars, but probably.
I have a book that I just got that. It's like the 3rd edition. It's like something since like 1990 something, 97. They probably last time they updated it, but it's like all the cigars, all the.
Really?
I can't wait to get into that one. That's gonna be a good.
It's like a history book on cigars.
Yeah,
That
goes
sounds-
all the way back to. I read like the first couple of pages, slamming on the fucking table. I read the first couple of pages, or jumped around a little bit. But that Cuba was really the main place that shit really started.
Yeah, I wonder why. Can they just do they have better climate for tobacco growth or something?
Something like that, but also, fuck. If I didn't smoke, bro, I could tell you. I can't remember those little details right now. But it definitely is a good book. We'll go into that on an episode. We'll do a Cuban or a cigar episode.
A cigar review.
That would be nice.
Ooh. What is that again?
Buffalo Trace, man. That shit
Buffalo
lingers in your
Trace.
throat a little bit. You might. I wouldn't blame you. Take a little water, bro. I might have to.
I already got water down here.
I usually have fucking ice with that. All right, so
When you guys are ready for that cigar episode, I can help. I got connects with the cigar manufacturer.
Oh
Ah,
shit.
sounds-
I'll have them I don't know. We'll have to maybe zoom them in or something. We can zoom them in on the video and.
hey, look, man. They ain't even got to give us money for a sponsor. They just want to do the shit just to have a little publicity. We'll do it. Not free money, but you gotta do
I'll make sure that the cigars are here ahead of time. So
we can do that. I got my clipper and everything. My clipper, my torch lighter.
Can I be Churchill?
Be what?
Churchill.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I want to dress up as Churchill.
That's
that
funny.
day.
That's so funny. I thought about that. I thought about like a certain episode where like you fucking dress up as like fucking something from history. Churchill.
Today we're going to be talking about the crossing of the Delaware, and I will be presenting you as George Washington.
Pull out your cigars now, guys.
Did he smoke cigars?
I don't know. Probably. Motherfucker was in Texas, right?
George Washington?
I say Texas.
Yeah.
It was Virginia, wasn't it?
Oh, now that you got me
I might
questioning,
even
it
think it might
definitely
be-
wasn't Texas, though.
Might have named the nigga Washington after the nigga. Nah, I think he was from Virginia.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Don't worry. I know my history, guys. Don't try to start calling me on that shit now. I know what I'm talking about.
What's your favorite part of history? Favorite point in time? You got one, too many?
One too many. I don't know. I have to have the black experience a little bit about it. So
slavery.
Civil War, slavery, yeah, a lot of that shit. I got this one book that actually changed everything for me, which I read during the quarantine, which was called like United States, the History of the United States of America or some shit. And that book actually, I mean, obviously, it pretty much summed up everything that I needed to
Know about America?
with everything that was going on, yeah.
Mm.
With how crazy everything was and how out of hand things kind of were. We're not going to be like Trump bad, but on both sides, politics were just disgusting.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Well, yeah, it led to a fucking war.
Yeah, man, it's getting out of hand. But that's really it's like I want to know where we're going. It's that line that says you gotta know where you're going. You gotta know where you've been to know where you're going and shit like that.
Yeah.
So to just know what's going on.
See, that's, a lot of people say history is written by the winners, but even if, let's pretend that's not true for a moment. Like that's what makes history so awesome. It's like you can read books like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and you're like, shit, this is awesome. I wish this was real.
Yeah.
But I get that way when I read history books. I'm like, because this was real. So
Yeah.
to me, that just makes it fucking crazy. Like,
I think it's always the what could have happened too.
yeah.
Like if the Boston Massacre didn't happen, like the fucking British could still be running this motherfucker. Like, all it took was for them to shoot one black dude. That's the only black dude in history. It mattered.
Hey, you know what?
They shot a nigga. Drink to that, right?
Drink to that.
Thanks for that nigga. They created a country. Y'all still ain't paid him for that.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
well.
you. Yikes. But yeah, that's basically what could have happened type of stuff. That's my favorite. Especially smoking and drink. I mean, smoking and just reading and just jumping into it and be like, oh shit. And seeing what people are gonna be talked about, like all the bullshit that's been going on now.
Yeah.
They all think they're gonna have an ego. They're gonna have this life, but there's gonna be books that are gonna tell what really happened, and then the real light of what.
But can you
what they were
trust
like.
those books?
You can't. I don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna say you can. That's really why I'm not good with reading books, because I'm always like, this is gonna be a bad fucking book.
That's why I like reading memoirs from soldiers instead of just a straight
Actually, that's true.
book just on like I have a few books. Like I got a book about the Battle of Verdun in World War One, which talks about the massive scale and the absolute hellish conditions these soldiers were fighting in. But more so, I just like to read the first-hand accounts of the soldiers.
Oh, dude, I can't. Some of that shit might be a little hard to read.
Some of some of them don't spare any detail.
Yeah, you're. I know you're a big war buff. You love the World War II.
I love me
World
some
War I.
military shit.
World War. I tried to get into war. I mean, I've read. I think I read a book about World War One. No, a magazine about World War One. Been doing the podcast for those, but that was like last year. Quarantine. That was like deep diving all that shit. But I've been trying to figure that out a little bit.
World War One. I mean, without the First World War, there was no Second World War.
Yeah, but
So like,
actually, yeah, that's
and that's just it. And there was no peace in between either. You had Russia was invading Poland again for the second time. They were going through their own civil war. Germany had little skirmishes between different political factions, so they kind of had their own civil war.
See, but that's the funny thing about it. You gotta dig into those crevices.
Yeah.
It's hard when you listen. You're like, oh, I paid attention. Like in school, you're like, oh, I paid attention to the important parts. Then there's those little crevices.
There's so many
those
little wars in between.
conversations behind the shit that led up to.
Yeah, and it all just kept building and building until Hitler failed art school and decided to rule a country.
But that's the thing. What if somebody would just patted that nigga on the back one day? A stranger.
Damn, Hitler, you make some nice
That's
trees.
the funny thing. People keep talking about going back in time and killing Hitler. How about giving that nigga a pat on the back?
Right?
Give that nigga his flowers as
Yeah.
a kid. Just be like, yo, that. It's cool. It's
They
good
always-
painting.
They always
It's nice.
resort to killing, don't they?
Oh, actually, you know what? They were probably very rough people. That makes sense. I don't know if that's racist to say people, but
Who?
German people.
Oh, why would that be
Because it's
racist?
PC culture. You know, let's not talk about PC culture. And this is the fun podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
We talk about that shit on the other.
Nah,
one.
Germany definitely had a bad time after the First World War. I mean, their groceries costed thousands. Their money was basically
Hey,
non-existent.
shit, we getting there.
Yeah.
Inflation. No, but they tried to rape them. They tried to rape Germany. They tried to take everything Germany had.
Yeah, they made them
Everything.
admit that the First World War was started because of them. Now, that's kind of true.
I mean, it is,
'Cause
but
they-
once you start to realize they had like an ego problem, they were like, hey, this dude kind of works.
Yeah, well, you got to realize, too, Germany's a pretty young country. It didn't really become unification until, I think it's like, 1879, after they were like battling France back and forth for a while.
Okay.
And then Germany decided to be like, hey, let's have this one war. We'll take all this territory. And France was like, okay. And then France lost. And then Germany suddenly became a superpower because,
Did France ever think that they would end up being a meme everywhere for that coward shit?
well,
Not just that coward, but a few coward shit. Cowardly
they
runaways.
surrendered in the Second World War because they didn't really have a choice.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. I think I'm talking more of a...
9/11.
What?
When they wouldn't invade Iraq with us.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And then we started calling it freedom fries and freedom toast.
Oh, yeah, okay.
and all that
okay,
stupid shit.
That's funny. I heard that, and I didn't even remember that when you said it. Jeez. Freedom fries. They don't call that shit an all-American. They just say, can I get some fries?
Yeah.
You stopped believing in that.
We
a long
never
time
said
ago.
freedom fries.
That was like fucking. That was a long time ago, though, bro. Sheesh.
I'm 34, right? To me,
Nah,
this
nah, I'm
happened 2
saying
years
that.
ago.
Freedom. That's fucking funny. That sounds like some shit they do in 1950.
At a place called Johnny Rockets.
That's the style of life. Yeah, actually, I knew a nigga that worked there. Yeah.
Johnny Rockets?
I never went in there. I only hung out outside. I think it was at the outlets.
Johnny Rockets.
Even that shit, even the old school movies, all that shit tells a story.
I love watching old movies. I recently just started getting into them. I used to watch them a lot when I was younger. My parents watched like the A&E channel and stuff, and always watching Cary Grant films and
Yeah, TMC that.
TMC. Yeah, yeah.
Turner Movie Classic.
Yeah.
TMC. That shit is on HBO Max. Yeah, they had some good shit for a little
They're
while.
comfy movies, man. You put them on, just chill.
But that's the thing. With some a cigar and some whiskey or beer, and then you're just drinking that shit, just hanging out.
Nice rainy day.
Cary Grant movie, Sidney Porter movie, shit.
Arsenic and Old Lace. I believe that was the first movie where they showed a rotary phone.
Arsenic and Lace. That's the Cary
Arsenic
Grant,
and
right?
Old Lace. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I have that one on DVD. It's hard to remember all the motherfuckers together. What's the other one? Bobby and the something?
I don't know.
Bobby and the Brown. Something. So that's so many names. They're all like ridiculous names and shit too.
The only two I remember are Arsenic and Old Lace and Father Goose.
Oh, why am I talking shit? I should just fucking look it up. It's right here in front of me.
You ever seen Father Goose? That was a World War II movie. He did.
Father Goose?
Yeah. He was like stationed on an island out in the Pacific.
I think that one might have been on.
That was a good movie.
I think that one might have been on HBO Max for a little while, but I don't know what ended up happening in that one.
Didn't they rename that though? birth parent Goose.
You had me for a second. I was like,
Once you said that, I knew exactly where you were going.
I mean, you kind of right though. You kind of right. That's. Baby, it's cold outside. You can't sing that shit anymore.
That's a callback to Beige's podcast over here.
Yeah.
What was that? Season 2, episode 2?
I think maybe 3, but I think we were high on that. I don't.
No, 3 we were baked out of our minds.
Yeah, I thought we were still on that podcast. This isn't Beige Connection. I think I'm in the wrong place. All right. That's not. Oh yeah, we were. It's like, what the fuck was I looking at? All right, 1950s movies. Plus those old the old cameras they used to use for that shit.
Ooh.
The millimeter, the 15 millimeter.
Just the cinematography alone and the way they spoke.
Yeah, I was actually that's the 30s and shit like that. That stuff's that's hard to watch because of the not even the talking, but the graphics. Because some of that shit was a little rough.
Supposing I'm done supposing.
What was the actually I've been getting into the King Kong ones, the old school ones.
Oh, no, I can't do it.
I got into I'm doing the Godzilla, but I couldn't find Godzilla versus King Kong from the 50s maybe.
I don't like those movies. Godzilla and King Kong and everything.
There's some I mean, I'm trying to get into that goat the monster thing and all that shit, so it's a little hard because it's the old school. It's hard to watch some of that shit.
You ever seen Overlord?
Overlord what?
The movie Overlord. It was
No, well, from when I don't know.
It came out a few years ago, but it was basically it was like a World War II zombie movie. Like these Nazis were doing crazy experiments.
Oh, that was on Netflix, I think. Yeah, I didn't watch that one.
That was actually not bad. It was a pretty solid action film.
I mean, 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I liked it.
That's usually where I try to go. I go to Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't usually care for movies like that. I like
I check the audience. I don't really like the critic.
I like my movies to be as historically accurate as possible.
That definitely. That's getting harder now though too.
I know. It's so hard. It's like as soon
You
as
gotta have like the perfect.
As soon as I'm done
story.
watching a historical movie, I immediately start researching and trying to find like what the.
Oh, that's instantly what you go to.
Yeah. It's like, all
Fact
right,
check
now
that
let's look at what what really happened.
Those are the motherfuckers we need to get checking the government. I just want to fact check. Motherfuckers that are like, oh, that movie's wrong. No, that's not the type of gun they use.
Yeah, like does Snopes do that, or is there a website for that?
They need to start hiring outside instead of training niggas because they're doing it the wrong way.
Oh, geez, politics.
Politics. In history, it's all dirty, so it's all part of everything. Everybody's trying to get to the top. They're trying to ruin us. They're trying to ruin the regular people. Hold on, I'm trying to find a certain movie. I'm trying to find that Bobby and Sox. I think it was like Bobby and Soxer movie. Ooh, that's another good one.
What?
On the waterfront.
I don't know that one.
Marlon Brando. It's more like 50s. I think. 58.
For what, Cary Grant movies?
Nah, for that Marlon Brando movie I was looking at. Yeah, but it was a Cary Grant movie. It was a Bobby Soxer and something.
No, I'm not familiar with it.
That's all right. How'd you get into history?
Couldn't tell you. As long as I can remember, I've been obsessed with learning about the past. But I did try to go into school for it a little bit, but I didn't want to. School has a way of making you think you love something, and then you start taking classes on it, and then it makes you hate it. I don't know how it does this. It survived I mean, I stuck with it through my networking degree, but like, I have more fun learning on things on my own than I do with a teacher going, "Oh, you got to write a 5-page paper on this now,
Okay.
and it's due next week."
Yeah,
So-
nah, that's the time crunch. The
Yeah.
thing about history, when you get to learn that shit yourself, it's
I
not
want to
as
read everything.
annoying.
Yeah,
I
but
could sit there and fucking just read a book for an hour, 2 hours, instead of being like, all right, now I gotta write a fucking book report and I gotta have it in by the end of the day.
yeah. But no, I was just a young kid playing games like Medal of Honor and shit on the PlayStation 1, and like, oh, that gun's
Oh,
cool.
that's-
What's
yeah.
that gun's called? And then I run over to my computer and look it up and research it. And
School shooter, school.
I was homeschooled.
I've never met your parents, bro. They stay okay. Nah, that makes a lot of sense. Cause I think probably like Assassin's Creed kind of got me into like the old school kind of Roman
Yeah.
philosophers a little bit. 90-minute philosophers on like Audible and stuff like that. Listening to that.
You like Roman history?
I tried. You know what? I tried to once, but this teacher ruined it for me.
See what I'm saying? School has a way of sucking the
it
love
wasn't
out
even
of shit.
It was just him as a person. He was an asshole. And we had a moment where we kind of cool. My dad came to the school. He talked to him. I thought we were gonna get along, and then he just ended up turning into an asshole again. And then it just kind of ruined history class for me.
Mhm.
So I probably stopped paying attention as much with the joy of history in that time.
Mhm.
But then I told him, I was like, oh, I like the Roman times. And before we even got to that shit, I couldn't stand it. It's a shame, but yeah, but that makes sense.
I don't really
What's
know
some
too
good
much
other
about.
classical history games.
What's that? Risk?
I don't know too many games that I've played that are history games that are really good. Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed's got a lot of history in it. They're not bad. I heard that they were using the Egypt one. They were using it in the classroom to teach about like Egyptian
really?
architecture and whatnot.
That makes sense. I played that game a little bit. I've only played like a couple of missions. See, it's hard to find time to play all that shit.
Yeah,
So
I
many
know.
hours you got to put into that stuff. You got to really be dedicated at trying to do streaming that shit. But yeah, nah, that sounds pretty cool that they were doing that because the game did look pretty good.
Never
Yeah.
played that one though.
Yeah, I mean, to
I
his
like
own.
Black Flag because pirates are pretty fucking awesome.
I heard they might be doing a sequel to that shit.
Mm.
Actually, you're right. That is one of the best ones. I keep hearing that's one of the best. Even after I've heard some of the new ones,
Yeah.
there's people that keep going back and be like, I played those, but Black Flag, they want to see more. They
Black
wanna be on
Flag just
that-
hit different.
You know why? You can never get a bigger fucking boat. That boat was cool, but you want to ride around in one of those galleons. You want to ride around fucking standing at the bow with your dick out.
I want a galleon. I want a Spanish
King of the
galleon.
world. Yeah.
I want a
Spaniard
fucking
galleon.
man of war.
What was that? Actually, I think that was one of my favorite parts of the book. Was the transition from like war ships to like land, because there was a lot. I think was it World War I where? Shit, I can't remember. It was like they were blocking Rhode Island or some shit like that. It was something up there. It had to do with the British and the French, I think, in America. I think it was during the Revolution.
Well, World War I and Revolutionary War were.
No, did I
they're
say
like-
World War I?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to say
It's that-
World War I. I meant to say the Revolution.
It's that sticky icky.
No, yeah, it might be. That's what I'm saying. I haven't brushed up on some of this shit in so long too. Like I just jumped to the next book. It's like I'm trying to put as much as I can at once.
World War I made World War II realize that we need aircraft carriers. That was one of the big things.
You got to be able to get your shit places.
That's one of the reasons why Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, was because they were trying to go after our aircraft carriers. But strategically, they weren't in Hawaii, which is why some people think it was an inside job.
Oh shit. Oh, fuck. I forgot. I was like, damn, conspiracy theories, but I was like, oh shit, we on the other podcast. All right. What's that one?
Well, the thing is, Congress did not want to get involved in the Second World War at all. They did not want to get involved in yet another European struggle like we did with the First World War. They were not budging at all. But we had a Lend-Lease program with Russia and England. Yeah, so they didn't want us to go to war, but they didn't care. We were just selling them weapons and giving them shit.
Yeah, because it wasn't hitting our motherfucking soil.
But England was losing. Like, the Germans in the early war were fucking ravaging. Okay. So, the politicians, we got to go in there and save England. Churchill's calling up FDR, come save us, hurry up. But they wouldn't move. Congress wouldn't budge and declare war.
That's always, that was a big thing in the books that I read. It's always Congress.
Yeah.
It's always Congress.
Congress
always fucking, oh, no, I'm holding my dick out. No, fuck you.
Yeah, Congress doesn't want to declare war.
I mean, I get it, but...
so we started cutting off oil and rubber and supplies to the Japanese because we were selling them products too. So we stopped selling them shit. Okay. And Japan needed that because they didn't really have any resources. So then they came and bombed Pearl Harbor, which then we declared war on them, and then Germany declared war on us. But some people think that we did that we deliberately cut off our supplies to Japan, which would incite Japan to react because they would have to. So we took our aircraft carriers away because they're very important in this part of the war, and let them bomb everything else because it can all be rebuilt.
That kind of makes sense.
And there you go.
But dude, 2,000 lives, I think? I don't want to say 2,000. I think it might have been less than that. All right, we got to fact check.
But
fact check.
I mean, that's nothing to politicians. They don't play the game.
Yeah, they play in
numbers, the long haul. Yeah.
They play in numbers. Those are the real accountants.
They don't care. As long as the job gets done or as the goal is met, everything else in between.
2,403 sailors.
Yeah.
Soldiers and civilians were killed. About 1,000 people were wounded. That's hard. Bro, can you just imagine you wake up one day and that's what you hear too. It's like fucking and just fucking boom.
Onomatopoeia man.
What's onomatopoeia man?
Onomatopoeia. That's what you're doing. Making sound.
This is the history pod, not the English pod. Damn. I think my favorite historical person right now is probably Abraham Lincoln. They need to make a game about that nigga.
They made a movie.
They made a couple. They made Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis, and then they made that vampire shit.
Yo, both those movies were awesome.
I didn't see the vampire one.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was.
It just sounded a little crazy.
I'm sure the book was better.
It had. That's why they made a movie. It was like a Twilight type of thing, like novels or just one book.
I have no idea. I think it was one book. It's like a jokesy book, you know.
If it's good, if it's a good movie, I don't mind. But did he save a couple of black people in that movie?
I don't remember. That movie came out a while ago.
All right.
But Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis was amazing.
I think I watched it twice. It is pretty good. It's sad when his son died, and he did that pretty good.
Yeah.
He did that scene pretty good. I think I was kind of into George Washington for a little while. I mean, I'm still learning just to learn, but he kind of came off that mantle. He's look, first president of the country. I'm not taking anything away from the man, but he got some slave history, and you got to take that into account. Just saying.
I don't know who like my top echelon of historical characters would be.
I mean, they're all gonna have a stain, some type of stain. I'd rather it just be more of a character stain than a moral stain.
Gavrilo Princip, pretty important.
Who?
Princip. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's the one that shot Archduke Ferdinand.
Oh, yeah.
The Serbian nationalist.
I think, why would you go back?
Kicked off the whole thing. What do you mean, like? Oh, wait. What do you mean? Why would you go back?
World War I, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why the fuck did he go back?
Oh, I don't know.
Him and his wife. Why'd they go back?
Because they wanted to go to the hospital.
Bombs were going off. Why'd they go back?
They wanted to go to the hospital and meet the victims.
Nah, they should have pulled a Trump then. They should have been out. Oh no, I'm gonna stay here. I'm not. Send somebody else.
Well,
they instantly got killed like 15 minutes, 20 minutes later. You getting getting killed again.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
It must have been.
That was
because if you missed the bomb and then one, they threw it in, threw it out.
No, he overshot a grenade throw. One of the assassins.
Okay. And
it blew up in the crowd, and a bunch of people were hurt. So then, so he turned around to go back, because the Archduke Ferdinand wanted to be with the victims. Be like, oh my God, I'm sorry. How are you?
I get that they doing it for him, but they just tried to kill you, man.
And then Gavrilo Princip just stepped out of a shot of like a restaurant, I think, or cafe he was sitting at, and he was all pissed off because he heard that the other two failed or whatever. And then he gets out, and the car is right in front of him.
That's what I'm
With
saying.
Archduke
But
and his
that's
wife.
it was perfect. It was like Lincoln. If that nigga just would have went like this, he just would have sneezed at the right time.
You think right before that he started nodding off? falling
Yeah,
asleep?
right. Nigga.
Just fucking play. It's 8 in the morning.
His wife knocked his ass on the arm. Huh? Yo. And that is exactly what could have happened. If you did, all you had to do was stay in the goddamn car. All you had to do was get where you was going. But you what? You like church? What, you generals?
Patton's pretty cool.
General Patton.
I don't know though. I don't really like you said, everyone's stained in some way. You learn something about one person, and you're like, oh wait, they also like to fuck children in their spare time.
That definitely would make it a little hard. Yeah, moral issue. I was like, yeah, and I was like, all right, let me see if I can get with this one. He was like, fuck children. I was like, how long ago? What did he? Was he a child when he did
How
it?
old were they?
Yeah, how old were they?
Were they old enough to remember? No, then it's fine. Jesus.
Woo. You put that disclaimer on this one too, right? Cool.
Maybe Hannibal Barca.
I gotta brush up on that's the Punic Wars, right? I gotta brush up
Second
on that a
Punic
little
War.
bit more.
Bro, he took, like, they don't know how many numbers, but let's say 70,000, because that's some speculated. He took 70,000 people through the Alps
To do what?
to invade Italy.
Build a snowman?
To invade Italy. They left it undefended. There's no fucking way anyone's going to cross
Hey,
these
look.
goddamn mountain ranges.
You see, and if Napoleon would have realized what he did, he probably wouldn't have froze to death.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
Everyone
history
freezes.
repeating itself.
Yeah.
You need that upper hand so bad. You're like, I'm gonna kill all these. They're gonna freeze to death.
Or
Livestock's gonna die.
Napoleon would have survived if he had the strength and courage of Hannibal. Hannibal fucking.
I was
hated Italy.
listening to something. I heard they were trying to get him back to Africa.
Yeah.
What happened? Why couldn't they get him back to Africa?
He didn't want to go back.
Oh, he didn't want to go back.
Yeah. He felt like
Hey, the shit I heard, actually they made it sound like that, but they made it sound a little bit less like
what?
like they just couldn't like, oh, they sent a couple like, oh, come, we're winning, and then all of a sudden it was just like nothing. So I guess that's right. He didn't want to come back.
Yeah, he felt like because he was doing so well when he in the Second Punic War. Hannibal was a big part of the Second Punic War, but he was doing so well fighting Italy. But Carthage was too afraid to send him like reinforcements and stuff, and just things took too long. And it was like years before he was getting reinforcements, and so he just started ravaging the countryside of Italy.
Yeah, I think they said Rome. Once Rome got like a foothold, that was it. That was kind of it. Nobody really fought back after that. And there was like this whole thing of land. I think I remember. I wrote it down somewhere. But like the whole fucking land like disappeared. The whole Western Mediterranean.
Yeah, pretty much.
All that land just fucking.
They took over. I think they got Sicily in the end of the. It was either Sicily or Corsica. They got at the end of the First Punic War, and then they got the other island at the end of the Second Punic War. I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
It's
the
gonna be a
Third
fun one to
Punic
dive
War.
into.
We'll talk about it more in detail, but the Third Punic War basically led to the complete destruction of an entire people. You want to talk about genocide?
What doesn't though? How many? They just got to keep getting rid of people in history. They just keep. Maybe that's what mass population control is or some shit.
Maybe that's what the vaccine is. Conspiracy.
Gosh, we have to get a sound effect for conspiracy theory moment. Seinfeld noise. Ding, ding, ding. Hold on. I think they were also saying what was the fucking there was something else I liked. I only got to look at the first part really.
This is more of just like an introductory episode, just kind of.
Yeah, get to know us and what we're here for and how we got into it. I don't know. History is like a love language to me sometimes.
Dude.
When I know that some of it, or at least learning it.
I get so excited when I'm browsing like one of the many streaming services I'm subscribed to, and I come across a documentary about one of the First World War, either First or Second World War, and I haven't seen it before. And what makes me even more excited is if the picture is clear. It's not like a documentary from the 1970s where it's in like 4:8 and 240p resolution. You know what I mean? But like when it's new and crisp, and I haven't seen it. That's when I crack open a beer, get a bag of chips, and
I hate when it's dry though. When you can't find any good documentaries. Like you hit Amazon, you're like nothing on here. I mean,
Yeah.
you could rent some of that shit, but some of that stuff is like you gotta buy.
Or
it.
you're
They
just
don't
like
have a rent
seeing
option.
it.
Nah, that's the problem. I jump around so much that, like, I try to do deep dives, but eventually I'm just like, I get to something else, and then I catch something at the end of like a book, and then I'm like, oh shit, well now I gotta jump into that subject, and I just go down these whole, and then I go to fucking Barnes and Noble and I spend $100 on like fucking 6 books.
I've done that way too many times.
I mean, you have a bigger library than I do in history books, definitely. Some of the other shit I have is in memoirs from other stuff.
Yeah, mine's all centralized though. Like every book I own is either the First or Second World War. I want to start branching out, getting more books though.
I mean, I got a Civil War book that I just found again. I think I got like 2 Abraham Lincoln bios.
Have you read them?
I read the one. The other one is the Civil War one, which is like a fucking thickie. It's one of those small books you find. That's one. I don't even know when you read those type of fucking. I don't know if that's a vacation book. I don't know when you read those.
That's
books.
a book on audio type book.
It is, but I try to find audibles and try to find the books, but none of the words match up. They're always different than the actual things. Just so you can get that, connection, that visual. But they don't be doing that shit. I tried looking that book up too. I don't think they had it. I don't know. It's a big ass book. But I got that one. I got Lee and Grant. That's gonna be an interesting book. I haven't read that one yet. Because again, I jumped to something else after that. I end up getting the books and I read like one of them, and then I jump into another subject, buy books for that subject.
I do the same shit. I don't buy other subjects, but I'll buy like 2 or 3 books at a time. I'll get 20 pages into one, and then they just sit there, and then I go back again in like 2 months and buy a bunch of new books.
I like jumping into pages though. I don't know why. I like open a fucking book and just start going through that history of whatever. I don't know.
Wait, you don't even start from page 1?
Sometimes just to make sure the book is actually something, man. I don't know. Sometimes I'd be in Barnes and Noble just looking in the middle of the books. George Washington.
What if it was a really exciting book, but you would just happen to open up to the one dry chapter?
That book ain't it. That book ain't it. It better be in the middle. I think that's what they say about scripts. They flip to that middle. If that shit ain't like the climax. They trying to find that climax. They want to know what's gonna happen.
Rebecca was a Nazi?
That's what they're looking for. They're trying to find the deepest, darkest shit in it, and that's what I look for. I try to see who got shot, what's going on in that moment. I guess that works for me. Sometimes I go on Amazon and look up reviews and shit, and try to find that out.
I judge a book based on the cover.
Sometimes them shits, but that's a more expensive.
I also
book.
judge beer that way too. If your can doesn't have cool artwork, I ain't buying it.
Is there any what are some that are still around that have some like historical beers? Any old school shit?
Yeah, there's one I had a while ago. It's been brewed for like 4,000 years. I can't remember the name of it.
4,000.
I don't remember how to pronounce it. It was like Fraoch, like Froch or something.
Froch. Jesus Christ.
It tasted like a spiced Guinness. It was just so delicious.
I don't think I've ever had a Guinness. Actually, I might have had one once, but I don't think I actually. That's funny. I'm fucking Irish too, and I won't go for it.
Yeah, it's a craft. It's Scottish actually. It's been brewed since 2000 BC.
How you spell it?
Fraoch. It's just really good. I've only found it once when I was living in North Carolina. I found it at a shop called World Market, which sold a bunch of random shit from around the world, like furniture and.
Oh, no, that bottle definitely
snacks.
looks like some fucking.
No, that's not what it looked like at all when I bought it.
I mean the label.
Yeah.
I mean what they're going for is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They ain't got no old school shit on here. Though. Yeah, I was thinking Viking. That's exactly what I was thinking, Viking.
That would be more like mead and wine, I suppose. But I'm sure the Vikings brewed their own beer.
Man, they raped and pillaged. I'm sure sometimes they were like, I'll just drink this beer you got.
Dude, berserkers used to take shrooms before going into battle.
What's that, berserkers?
They were these dudes that would go into battle, like Vikings that would go into battle like holding like dual wields or like big swords.
Oh shit!
And they would take.
Wait, you telling me in Assassin's Creed that dude's a berserker the whole time?
I haven't.
Because that nigga be dual wielding the whole time. So.
Nah, these dudes, they would take
Drugs,
shrooms and
man,
trip.
lots of
They
drugs.
trip their balls off and then go into battle naked. And it's like, "Ah." Yeah, man, they did that shit.
Hey, we'll cover that too, but. Yo, can you imagine that trip, Mike? Here, take some of these shrooms. Here's some swords.
Try this.
The enemy's out there. That's like some fucking. That's like when they tried to run across the battlefields and
Take
actually
two
that's
of these
in
and go
World
that
War
way.
take 2 of these and go down. I'm a fucking. You're gonna start seeing trees talking to you. You're gonna be running into a tree, stabbing a motherfucker. Like, all right, that guy's gonna die.
Lord of the Rings, the Ents are coming to join the war.
But World War, World War II. Them trying to run across the fucking battlefield. Like I think. Wait, World War One was that the that's when trenches came in, right?
Yeah.
All right, so when they were trying to run across.
Well,
in World War One, then.
Yeah, in the Western Front mostly. You hear more about the Western Front, but
yeah, no,
it wasn't
I
like
was mixed up 1 and 2.
it wasn't like a no. I'm just saying like.
I mean, like the trench thing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The trench thing was mostly a World War One thing, but it was like mostly on the Western Front. Battles didn't really come to a standstill. That actually happened because the Germans kept trying to outflank the French. So they
what was that plan called?
It was basically just like the race to the sea, pretty much, because it was like a 700-mile long front line, and then basically they would dig in, then they'd try and sneak around, and then the French would sneak up back around, and they'd dig in, and they kept getting basically till they hit the coastline of France.
You know what was bomb as fuck was when the British blew up the fucking under all the Germans.
Oh,
that was
when they vaporized like 10,000.
When I read that shit, I was like, what's going on for the British?
The fucking tunnel warfare of the First World War. That's just
actually
scary, man.
What's the show you watch? Peaky Blinders?
Yeah.
I'm on season 3. I think he married that girl, and I wasn't happy about that, so I kind of slowed down. Sorry if I ruined it for you. It's been out for a while.
I can ruin for you. I've been done with it for a while.
I don't like spoilers, but I wasn't thinking when I just said that. But it was important. I hated that shit.
Yeah, no, that was.
She might be a ride or die. She might, but
that's a fucking.
Right now, she's a snitch.
That's a good ass show.
It is. But that's what he was part of, right?
Yeah, he was
digging those tunnels.
Yeah, and those dudes had you're basically like 60 feet underground with a pickaxe, a rifle, and a flashlight.
They really emphasize on that stuff in the show.
Yeah.
They really the guy who went and started shooting. I think he started shooting or some shit.
Yeah, could you imagine that fighting hand-to-hand combat in a space where you can just barely fit through to crawl?
No, I can't. As a kid, I couldn't. My older brother put a pillow on me. You freak out like, get the fuck off me.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine that. No, that Catacombs movie, like they go to Rome and they climb through, and that was real. I would have been like, nah, I can't do that movie. I'm sorry.
What movie's that?
This is, I think it's a scary movie, but they go to Rome, they climb through all the catacombs and shit. They climb through tunnels. I think it's like something about
National Treasure.
Something about the devil. Nah, it's something about the devil. It's like a scary movie. But being in those tight spaces, I can't act on this movie, man. They said somebody got stuck and had a real was panicking, and that shit was in the movie. And I'm sitting there like, no thanks.
Nah, fuck that.
Yeah, nah, I couldn't be in that tunnel. They would have had to kill me.
I get claustrophobic quite easily.
Claustrophobic. That was some bomb ass shit when they blew that up. I read that, I was like, they might have a chance. You take out 10,000 soldiers. I mean, every time I read it was like, oh, they're sending 10,000, 20,000. Then it started to become like 200,000, 300,000. The numbers just keep going up.
You couldn't get me in there.
That's why there's so much money in it. That makes sense. That's why there's so much money in the military, because the numbers just keep going up. You send more soldiers, you send more cars, you send more bullets.
There's a lot of money to be made in war.
Supply and demand. What, the military something complex?
Industrial complex? Yeah.
I think I've only heard the
Eisenhower speech.
Once or twice. I think I might have an Eisenhower book. I might have picked it up. I don't know. See, I'll pick a book up and then switch it with another one and not even know if I bought it. And I get home like, damn, I thought I bought that book.
Pick a book up and switch the jacket with the cheaper book.
How many times you been going? It's like, I'm not paying $100 for fucking 3 books anymore. You have to run up in that motherfucker.
Like, oh, it's ringing up as a pencil. Okay.
I got in trouble for that one. Not that, but chicken salad at Stop and Shop.
What'd you do?
That shit was like $3 worth of chicken salad, and I made it like 50 cents. But the machine wasn't catching the weight. The shit kept saying, please weigh again, please weigh again. And I'm sitting there like, I'm starting to panic. And I'm just sitting like, fuck. I'm like, what's going on? And I did it again. Put it on. Then the fucking cashier had to come help. I was like, ah, shit. And I came back to work Monday. I was like, ah, shit. They called me up to the office.
That's why you don't go through self-checkouts.
It's working there, motherfucker. Nah, you right though. Every time I'm at self checkout now, I feel like they're watching me.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, look, dude.
And then
If
something
you grab
doesn't
two,
scan.
they'd be like, you watch you.
Some shit don't scan. You can feel the eyes of everyone else behind you just staring.
Sometimes.
Pure anger. If you don't know how to use the fucking thing, then get off.
Sometimes when it's like a fucking Monday. I don't know why there's so many people in there on a Monday.
We were trying to. My girlfriend and I were in Patchogue last night, and this is on topic of people not being able to use shit. And we're waiting in line to pay for the toll thing. We're not paying, but this woman was trying to use it, and she had to reread the instructions like 6 times. She'd be like, and then she's trying to find the button.
You
I'm
know
like,
where she belongs, in the handicap line.
like, just fucking move, pay. They're not checking. They don't check in Patchogue.
They don't check in Patchogue. Yo, those are the type of people that you need to watch out for, man.
Just don't park in the street and you're good.
If she gotta read that shit a couple of times, she might. If she can't see it, that's one thing. But if she gotta be like, unless she was blitted, if she's high or some shit, then that's on her. She gotta wear a little stickers, you know. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I'll give you a few more minutes.
Her little puzzle piece sticker.
No green puzzle, actually. I ended up buying one of those sunglasses, little autism sunglasses.
Well, good for you.
Nah, I don't even wear them. Just doing it for the cause.
They still got their money.
I hope somebody will enjoy them. I'm trying to give them away. I'm like, I'll meet someone that has autism one day, and I'll just be like, yo, I got these dope ass glasses. Here
You are gonna love these.
That's a bad plug. Shady Rays, guys. Shady Rays.
ShadyRays.com,
Free money.
probably.
Oh shit.
What's up? Meter?
No, I'm checking some pictures.
You gotta pay the
I
meter.
didn't pay. I didn't check. I didn't put it on. What do I? Not that it mattered. What time are we at? I didn't put a. All right, yeah. I didn't put a timer, so I'm just sitting here wondering.
Oh. All right. So, what should we do the next episode? You want to talk about some history shit? We'll get into it.
I mean, we have to jump into. I mean, obviously the. Let me see. Hold on. I have it. I have a few written down. I think.
Because I know we wanted to discuss the Punic War as well, but
I want to do the Punic Wars, but I think because of everything happening in Israel.
oh shit.
I mean, I think maybe we should do that next. I'm trying to find the fucking spot that I had it.
You want to talk about Israel?
I mean, we could do a little something now about it from what we know. I don't know too much about it. I know there's some religious shit going on. Oh, that's a history of religious problems. I think they're two different religions.
Yeah, well, Israel is predominantly Jewish, and I guess Palestinians are predominantly Muslim.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But then I guess they set up, but that was back in the 90s?
Bro, this shit's been going on since like 1948.
1948? you said?
Yeah. After World War II, we gave the Jewish people their own land.
Okay.
The problem was people already lived there. It was already a country.
Mm.
So they basically kicked everyone out, moved in a bunch of Jewish people, and the Palestinians want their land back.
Well, I know, from what I know in the book, whenever they touched on the United States history one, they touched on just, what presidents were doing. And it didn't really come up until George Bush.
Well, Israel
Senior.
is one of our probably best allies. They're one of our few allies in the Middle East, so we just keep pumping them money and weapons because we need them. They give us a lot of intel on like terrorist activities and whatnot.
Mm.
So we're effectively
we're going to the fucking source.
we're basically arming Israel to fight the Palestinians.
Mm.
And they claim Israel claims that their targets are mostly Hamas targets, like an apartment building that Hamas will be operating out of. What basically what happens?
They be blowing up every wedding.
They
Nigga
also
sneezed
say
over there, blow them up.
yeah, they also say they have like underground tunnels that they're attacking.
Mm.
But like from what I understand, what basically will happen is so they claim Israel claims that if they're blowing up an apartment building, it's because Hamas is working there.
Okay.
Hamas claims that they're just destroying Palestinian
Hamas is the guys that are going out causing shit?
Yes, I don't know if it'd be right to call them a terrorist organization.
I wouldn't say that, but I just know an article I read. They were talking about a group of people who are going out, and then the government of Israel is saying, do something about
they
this.
They are the
defend
primary
yourselves.
forces fighting Israel, I would say. But what Israel says is that Hamas will use the civilians as shields. Like they'll go into apartment building to purposely shoot out of these weapons, knowing that these windows, knowing that Israel will blow up the buildings.
Oh shit.
So it's
Hey, Israel, I know a few niggas. Let's go bash some windows.
It's a shitty situation. The only people that are losing are the Palestinian citizens. It's just, it's ugly.
Yeah,
down
but that's where it gets bad. When people, they just start killing people. It doesn't. That's when the civilians, they just start knocking civilians out.
Well, yeah, but there's also, there's also just history between the people of.
Then you get a bunch of memoirs about the people who were there.
Yeah, but like, again, it's just like Muslims versus Jewish type of thing. It's just. It just goes back centuries. Everyone's been fighting because they call the same God a different name. It's just so stupid.
That one is kind of hard to do. I feel like, you know what it is? None of that shit happened here in America. So none of that. I mean, the religious fight. I mean, obviously the Native American shit like that.
Yeah.
Pushing that shit on
the witch
people.
hunts.
But the real religious shit started back over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blood in that soil. I'm surprised the fucking water doesn't bleed red and the soil grows fucking blood trees. It's that bad.
America is the perfect example of what immigrants do. Immigrants will come to America, like they'll move to New York City, but then they move into the neighborhoods where the rest of their people live, and they don't really like assimilate into American culture too well. But that's basically
try to come here and make their own fucking little place.
Yeah, which is fine. I don't give a shit. Hang out with whoever the hell you want. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But if you think about it, the start of America was also sort of like that. Like, they left British rule because they wanted to practice their own version of Catholicism or
George
Christianity.
Washington was like, sure, I'll fight your goddamn war. I want my slave.
But then they come here to escape the persecution of that, and then they persecute other people who are different than them. Like, it's just...
It's because one person comes with their...
This land is cursed.
Well, everybody got a claim to this fucking land except... I mean, Native Americans got a claim to this land because they was here first. Black people got a claim to it because all the work they put in. But they didn't have a flag. Yeah, word. All they had was a flag, bro. I would design that mother. Let's go back in history and make a flag. Black people for all the work they put in. And there's definitely white people who came here but were like, hard workers. Not the people who came here and were like, all right, we own this. Like, Gangs of America is a good...
Gangs of New York? Yeah, but that all started because when the Irish and the Italians first came here, they were also persecuted. They were told there were places that said no Italians, no Irish.
Yeah, but they
were given the shit hand jobs. That's when they started forming gangs because the cops would beat the shit out of them. Yeah. So and like businesses would rip them off and stuff. So they started forming gangs just to protect each other, and that's how the mafia came about.
But they all made it out the slums, man. They
some of them.
Well, I would say most of them, because when you think of an Italian person today, not that when you think of a black person, they're doing bad, but.
No, I see what you're saying.
It always looks bad. It's like, oh, Italian, that guy's probably a fucking construction worker. He's doing this, he's doing that.
But I mean,
always have a good opinion.
Go to any town in like a mining town in West Virginia, and you're gonna see the poorest of the poor, and they're white too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they got left behind by their fucking country.
No.
All the factories.
The country doesn't give a shit about poor people, whether you're white or black. They don't care.
They say move where the jobs are.
Yeah.
At least that's what I keep hearing.
Everyone's out for themselves. I think this whole racism thing, I think it's mostly the media keeping us divided. Because, I mean, look what happened with the Capitol. Like, a group of people stormed a government building. They can't let them know that we can do that shit.
That shit should have been on the news this morning. That shit should be red alert, warning. Something should be going off every day. There's something that shit happened. I don't hear anybody talk about that shit. I hear people bring up like, oh, a little comment, but nobody talks about that shit.
The problem is they went up there with the wrong intentions. Like, if you're pissed off at your government, whatever.
They should have read a couple of fucking
but they were pissed off at the
books, man. They would have at least learned a little something, a little drive.
I'm not saying a revolution needs to happen or will happen, because I don't think we'll ever have like a war like that again. But
oh no, that shit'll get shut down real quick because big money doesn't want that. The government don't want that, and there's a lot of guns in this country, and there's just gonna be a lot of bloodshed.
People just keep segregating themselves. They just keep putting themselves into these smaller boxes, like what we were talking about on your podcast with the beige versus the dark skin thing, or there's people even within
not beige versus not basically that, but just how it that yes, I'll explain just how black people were looked at black people, but then mixed people were kind of looked at as a abomination just because they had a mix. They got treated both, terrible as fuck. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody.
But why is that like that? Because you were being, let's say if you were being treated badly by white people because they see the black in you, then what?
I feel like I'm sometimes might feel that. I look past a lot of that shit. So when you guys say you experienced certain shit, I'm kind of like, I gotta think deep. Like, have I really experienced?
I don't experience any of that.
No, I'm saying what you what you see.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't even really be seeing it.
But my point is like, instead of just keep breaking each other up into these smaller and smaller groups, we should realize that the government doesn't care about any of us because we're poor.
If you ain't got no money to put in their pocket,
Yeah.
they be like, oh, you paying really good taxes right now.
And when we come together, big things can happen, like getting Joe Jorgensen into the office. Yay, Libertarian Party.
Like Paul Mooney said, we either going to hang separate or we going to hang together. But, nigga, we going to hang.
It's very true.
Something of what he said of that sort. But it's true. The government, he said the people don't overthrow the people. The government.
Why do you think we've
oppresses
never
the
had a
people.
dictatorship in this country? I think I honestly think it's because of the
Congress?
Second Amendment.
Nah, actually, I hear that's why a lot of people don't invade because they're worried about fucking like we have
Because
like, so
we
many
all
guns.
have guns, yeah.
And it's not like you need us to be trained. We are obviously trigger happy and we hitting something. So something's getting hit. So
Yeah.
they're going to be like, oh, well, if we're strategic and we use bomb.
If it ain't the drugs, it's the government.
You need to be coming for America to kill everybody or you nuke this motherfucker because not everybody. I think there's going to be a 75% who are going to stand up. This is America. At some point, something in you like, all right, you about to take away my living. There's going to be that little part. It's either 50% to 25%. That's going to be that, all right, we'll do what you say. Man in the high castle type shit. Like, hey, yeah, whatever you say, we'll do it. I don't know why it hasn't happened, but stuff like that.
I think it's honestly it's because of guns. And we're stubborn people, Americans. We
People
don't.
bought a bunch of fucking.
We hate being
ammo
told what to do.
during quarantine. That I can't imagine anybody that wants to be told to fucking.
Everyone was told to wear a mask. You know what a lot of people said?
What?
Fuck you. I'm not wearing a mask.
That was the funniest fucking thing to me. It was just like if someone comes to you and they tell you, "Oh, can you not drink and drive?" All right, that's gonna hurt people. That's gonna kill somebody.
Fuck you. I'm going to get
That's gonna
drunk and
hurt
drive
someone.
home right now.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all. But if you come to me and tell me wear a mask, it's for your own safety. If you tell me stop drinking drive, I guess it's for your own safety. But if you think about other people, That's all. Just think about other people. If you go into a store, put a fucking mask on. That's all. And then like, I don't understand the conforming part. Like I'm gonna conform to this thing, and next thing they're gonna put fucking chips in my brain, and I'm gonna be fucking. People start going crazy and think about the craziest fucking scenarios.
Yeah. And then you see all the memes from the Spanish flu pandemic of people wearing masks and holding up signs and saying, please wear a mask. If you don't wear a mask, you'll go to jail. That shit was crazy.
I mean, but at that time it made sense. But imagine if they weren't. Imagine the people. They said people were saying no at that time. They said there was the same kind of thing. Not everybody, but they said they kind of had to push it. Like the president had, like Woodrow Wilson at
Yeah.
the time. He had to go. He had to get the fucking shot.
Wait, was that him? Yeah, when did he leave office? 1919? Oh my god.
He ended up leaving right after. Yeah.
1921.
Did he die or he left? Oh no, I don't remember. These niggas be dying. These old white dudes be dying. I don't know.
He actually was the one that set up the Federal Reserve and then later regretted the hell out of it. He was like, oops, I just sold our country to a bank.
I mean, actually, that's another reason that probably dictatorship hasn't come along because of the big money that's in that shit. It's dictatorship behind the scenes, but they want that one person in control. That's where it is. You got to get past all that shit. You got to get past the money.
Yeah.
You can't have. They don't want one person in charge.
No.
They don't want that one person sitting at the top.
Rome, too. They were terrified of that shit. But other countries seem to just love dictators. They love being told what to do. But do they?
I think they enjoy being told what to do as long as they're okay.
I mean,
like in America, you can go out. I mean, you can go outside. Besides how terrible things kind of are. I mean, you're not gonna go outside and get shot, maybe, but
the likelihood of you getting shot is so slim.
I just mean with everything going on. I feel like not now, but what it might progress into if we don't get a hold of it.
What do you think we do?
What do you think, Mike? You gonna take the guns away?
You want to talk about gun control?
He's like, nigga, I got a couple. What you mean? You trying to take my guns away?
I think they should stop handing out medication like fucking Tic Tacs, and maybe you'd start seeing a decrease in gun violence.
Yeah, actually, I think that's what it is. A problem with a lot of those guys always have like mental issues or like depression or loneliness or something.
And some people say they're like, oh well, you just use that as an excuse.
They should actually screen people for mental health.
I don't know how.
That'll just solve it, because
But they have to figure out what to do with those people, and that's the problem. They don't want to do anything with. It's like, oh, we diagnosed you with mental health. All right, go figure that shit out.
Maybe before you buy a gun, you gotta take a psych evaluation. I think.
you should. I mean, you technically, New York City, you can have a New York State gun license, a gun permit, and not be allowed to carry in New York City. A
Interesting.
lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that.
And New York
Not
City makes it almost
concealed?
impossible. Yeah, they make it almost impossible for you to have.
Imagine the motherfuckers that got past the system just walking around New York City with a gun.
Yeah, like
There's all these crazy people.
that Times Square
You
shooting.
could be
That could have been
a
possible.
diamond jeweler. You know, like a jeweler that carries diamonds and shit.
Oh, you right.
They still won't give you a fucking
You gotta
license.
carry that thing on you, right?
They won't give it They won't give you a license. You gotta.
You
just
gotta
put
carry
you
something.
through
Yeah,
hell.
you gotta figure it yourself out, or they hire some fucking security, and then
Yeah.
what's the point of selling fucking diamonds?
You gotta rely on the licensed thugs.
What's the license thugs?
The police.
Oh, nah. That again. What we're talking about. I don't know why they would do stuff like that. Like make. I think Texas. I think that I don't know why you would take away mental health checks. I think, or background checks maybe.
Background checks they have, but it's just.
I think
it's
the mental check they took away.
It's just checking you for criminal, like activity.
Actually, yeah, you know what it was? That's what it was. It says that you don't have to get a mental check again if you buy another weapon. I think you can get one weapon and they'll do a background check. And if you don't have a criminal history, so you could have did some crazy shit in between then, and all they look at is your criminal history.
With that gun.
If anything, you'd be like he was wheeling it at someone. But if you don't get a charge for that or whatever, if they don't do anything about it,
You know, I like
You
this
just go
gun,
get
but
another
the
one.
teller's head didn't explode quite as well as I wanted. Can I get a new one? Like, oh, sure, we already ran your background.
if you ain't get caught. But I guess that's in the sense of what it is. If you get caught and doing some crazy shit, even if you get caught for a crime, maybe they should do a fucking mental evaluation.
Dude, that shit scares the hell out of me.
Sometimes you
Like
need
going to
somebody
jail.
Know if you're okay.
I don't know. I don't know how people go to jail. Like, fuck that. I mean, I guess some people don't have a choice with the environment they
Black
grow up
people.
in. Yeah.
Nah.
Well, yeah, that
Nah,
too.
but hey, look, many people that have gone to jail, I don't think I could do it either.
I think I would kill myself day one.
I mean, I might hang out for a little while, make sure that everybody's cool. But the first motherfucker that tries to grab me or take me somewhere, if I can't fight him, I'm gonna slam my head against the wall or something. I'm
you
going
don't need to.
dead. You can use
like-
my body. I'm sorry, I'm dead. I'm not even here.
You don't need a gun to. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be mentally disturbed and go grab a fucking hammer and it's hammer time.
Actually, yeah, that scares me more.
Knife attacks
Or
are.
go to Home Depot and get a chainsaw. Chainsaw massacre. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
that's funny. That's a control that we keep as a people. They just expect us not to do that. I mean, obviously they should. But
Logically,
we're a
but yeah, but-
civilization now.
imagine somebody running around Times Square with a fucking chainsaw.
Hey, the guy shooting people.
I shot 2 people in an apartment.
Yeah, but wasn't that lady screaming on the ground? Wasn't somebody get shot? The lady? And
I
she was
have no
like
idea.
asking for help or some shit. And nobody would help her.
It was the Asian lady.
They were like
getting
taking videos. Same lady, right? She got shot too? Damn. Nah, but gun. I can't imagine with gun violent. How the fuck you go from being able
Bro,
to
murder's
shoot people on the
already
street?
murder's already
in
illegal.
duels?
If you take guns away, they're just gonna get them in illegal ways and commit crimes with guns. Like
America don't know
taking
what
guns
they got
away
on
is
their
not gonna
hands,
be the answer. It's not gonna happen.
bro. Whoever's sitting at that table and they got to fix these problems,
Their hair
they
is-
need to pick up a history book and try to figure something out.
25 years old and the hair is gray as shit.
Probably got a fucking castaway beard. I'd be stressing the fuck out thinking about how can I fix gun violence.
Like
In a country that used to be okay to be on the street and shoot each other in duels, as long as it was a fair one, I guess.
yeah, you want to talk about gun violence?
the original fair one.
Let's go back to the Western days. The
Wild, Wild
OK
West.
Corral.
Yo.
Billy the Kid. Wait, no, wasn't Billy the Kid a pirate?
Nah, he was a Billy. That was I think they called him Billy the Kid, but no, that was
William H. Bonney. It was an
yeah, it was a
outlaw.
woman. It was a woman.
No, it's a man.
William H. Bonney?
Yeah. Billy the Kid.
Oh, you talk? Oh, no, it was outlaw. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? The pirate. There's a pirate bitch that's got like some what of a name. What's her name? Pirate bitch. That's not right.
Pirate.
And Bonnie is a pirate.
She was the one. Yeah. All right. And they call her Kid. I think they called her Kid. Her nickname was Kid.
Yeah, like Billy Kid or something.
Yeah. So that's
Because
why I
she
was
used to
mixing
pretend
it
to be a man.
up. Yeah.
There's some.
I mean,
stuff
those
like
were
that.
those are both kind of the Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West of the ocean and the wild, and they were always, I won't say that. It was always kind of criminals because the people who were doing it out on the water, that was a lot of people who came from from the British like fleets and shit. Like
Yeah,
people
they
who-
were British soldiers that were given, or they were like merchants and stuff that were given.
again, who were taught to do this shit, to pillage ships and take shit and take the ships, and then they went, oh, I'm just gonna do that shit myself.
Well, what happened was, France was in a war with
Stop teaching your people bad shit, countries.
France
and
was
trying
in
to
a
take
war
it
with
away.
England at the time already, and the war was going on for I want to say like 14 years or something stupid like that. But basically, I mean, this is all stuff we can get into further in the episode. It's not the
I
introductory.
think we passed a minute. Actually,
Oh, did we?
yeah. Well, a minute. We're past an hour, but
All right, maybe we'll talk about pirates next time.
Well, shit, but
That's a fun topic.
we gotta knock it all out. Pirates is definitely on the list. I definitely
Alright.
want to talk about pirates.
Fuck yeah, pirates. Well, that was fun. You good, bro?
Yeah, man. Lot going on. So much going on. All right, later, guys. Thank you.
Episode 2 coming soon.